Hey guys, welcome back to the Blissful Athlete. Thank you for tuning in to my channel.
Welcome to our channel, Dridha and Prasiddha. Or is it Prasiddha and Dridha? I don't remember. Which one has a better ring? I don't know.
Blissful Athlete.
So guys, we wanted to talk to you today about how you know when to end a relationship or when to keep it going. And I think this becomes a big... Hey, you can't end this one.
When you bring a YouTube, when you collectively combine your YouTubes and you just know it was too soon, people weren't ready for it. You know, you're forcing it.
No, now you know you can't shake me.
No, yeah.
You can't. So, basically, a lot of times in relationships, we get to a point where we are very attached to the person, and we might have a lot of history with them, so many memories, a lot of love between us, but the relationship has gotten to a point where there's a lot going on both parties or one party are not okay with. And I know I've been there, I'm sure, in my past relationships. Obviously, you have too. And that's why we're not with those people. But really, we have to know. It's a great question. How do we know what that line is? How do we know when we really do need to clear out the relationship in our life? When we really need to let somebody go? When that relationship no longer serves us? That's actually the word I like to use best. I feel it actually most accurately represents relationships. Is when something is serving us or when it's no longer serving us. We're not labeling it as good or bad or that we have to cut that person off, but it's that the relationship dynamic sometimes does need to change for the better for both people. So how do we know when the relationships get to this point? Dridha, can you maybe share, like, in your experience with relationships?
I can't say that I ever ended a relationship based off of the cognition that this is no longer serving me. I've had breakups that were, I mean, it wasn't, yeah, they were kind of mutual, but at the same time, I was left quite devastated. And it didn't come until later on that I understood the context that this was good for me, that, you know, that we separated. And had I had that, you know, awareness and understanding of when I should have, you know, probably ended this relationship, it would have been a lot better. For me, I would have known, I should have known that it was time for me to end a relationship when I was very clingy to the person. And not only was I clingy to them, but they were clingy to me in the sense that, like, they couldn't do anything without me. And they felt lost if I wasn't there. And because of that, I remember just feeling like very, like, overwhelmed and, like, just, like, owned in a sense. And because of that, it left me with a real, like, dissatisfied relationship and experience of life in general. But I was willingly making that decision to live in that lifestyle also. It wasn't until later on, well, maybe you'll speak on that first if you want to share something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like what happens is, what I've understood from my past relationships is, when you're in so much of a rut that you're just going in circles, but that the relationship gets into that point of clinginess, that's actually a good word, when that space opens up is because we're so insecure in the relationship. When we see a lot of red flags, we actually hold on tighter. So usually when we've actually become more attached to that person in unhealthy ways, that's a sign that actually there's more problems between us than we may want to admit, I think.
And you see that quite a bit with relationships when people break up and then they get back together.
Yeah.
Because of that clinginess.
It incites like a desperation because when you realize something is going wrong with a relationship, what happens is it triggers fear in you. You don't want to lose the person. You love them deeply. You've spent all this time with them. You're comfortable with them. You might even have a life with them, right? It triggers immediate fear, even the thought of possibly losing that person in your life in the way you have them, right? So immediately the being goes into fear, and what does that mean? They hold on tighter. Just like if you're falling off a cliff, you would grab, you know, the tree or the vine or whatever to hold on. In the same way, when we feel we're losing someone, quite often we squeeze them. What happens then is that actually the life leaves it even more, right? We're actually smothering the person and even ourselves. But I guess overall, I would say you have to come to a place where you evaluate if the relationship is raising you both as better people, as higher conscious beings or not.
Which is the only purpose of a relationship.
I mean,
is to
yeah.
expand you and take you along your journey further and further.
Yeah, that was the question, the fundamental question I have used in my past relationships. Why I transitioned from the relationships I was in the past was because I actually asked myself that exact question. Was that whether I love the person or not was not necessarily it can't be the only deciding factor. Love will always be there. Naturally, we're programmed to love. But sometimes that doesn't mean a relationship is healthy or working for either of you in the right way. And you should always know if relationship is not working for you, it is also not working for the other person, whether they are consciously aware of it or not. Because we are each other's reflection. If you're feeling dragged down by that person, somewhere that person is feeling that way also about you. All these things, if you're feeling held back by that person, they're also somewhere feeling that way about you. If you're showing anger, they're also somewhere holding anger towards you. So all of these things have to be addressed. And I think the most important thing is to come back to that one question of, is this relationship bringing me to a higher state of consciousness? Is it actually making me becoming the person I want to be? That's I think really the biggest fundamental question.
Yeah, and guiding you back to the understanding that you are already whole. This is I always bring this up when I'm talking about relationships, and that we forget that we are already whole. When somebody's clinging to you, that means that they don't feel that they can get whatever they're getting out of you within them.
Yeah.
But they can. We all can. Everything can be found within you. All the joy, all the love, all the happiness, all the sexual energy itself. That is already within you. And so the partner is not necessarily needed. Now, what are we seeking then at the deepest root of us? It is the cosmic union, the union with the divine. And we try and find that in all of these different things, whether it's money, jobs, people. Where can we get this, this elusive thing that we don't quite know what it is, and we seek out, and we're programmed to believe that we'll get it in a relationship.
The ultimate love, the ultimate experience of connection
is Paramashiva.
Yes, the ultimate state of consciousness. That's actually the word used to describe that ultimate state of consciousness, the ultimate independent intelligence, the consciousness that runs the entire universe, the source of where we come from, to put it a little more simply.
And much like how like we have feeling and we can taste things and we can experience our reality through our senses, Paramashiva also has an experience. It's not just like this state of consciousness. It's an intensely powerful, loving, joyful, blissful energy. And when you experience that state of consciousness, it's not just like this awareness. It's this deep feeling connection that you just knew nothing else can compare with. And so that's what we are seeking and trying to get to continuously over and over again. And that's why we practice yoga.
Yes. Yoga is actually built and designed to put you in that state. And some of you might be familiar with this state, sometimes referred to as samadhi. The state of samadhi is that exactly what Dridha just described, when you are in complete oneness with that ultimate source. And it's a very physical experience also. It's not just a conscious, or emotional experience, but it's very physical. The intense energy the body feels, it's actually overwhelming to the body. The intense Kundalini awakening, the energy centers opening up, and the bliss oozing from every single area of the body is too much to even compare. Like, even when I talk about it, I start to go into that space actually, because for the last few days we've been actually experiencing that state more than I can say I ever have with yoga.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason for this is because we've actually been finally releasing the ultimate yoga possible, which has been compiled over many, many months by our Guru, Paramahamsa Nityananda, His Divine Holiness, as the 12 components of yoga. Now, we've introduced you guys our yoga many times before, right? Through Nityananda Yoga, as you guys who know us know, we teach this, we live here, we've been doing it for a while. But with a yoga integrated with all the different aspects at once has never been done before. And it is the biggest breakthrough for the yoga community I could ever imagine.
And what
Seriously.
are all of these components? Well, maybe we'll dive into those at a different time, actually.
Yeah.
This is a relationship video.
Yes. But just so you guys get an example, from everything to where you move your body, to how you breathe, to what you visualize in your third eye, to how you hold your hands, to how you lock the body, to how you seal the energy. Everything is happening for each and every asana in 12 different ways where all the senses are so stimulated. The body literally goes into samadhi, whether you believe it or not, whether you have practiced yoga for 10 years or not, whether you believe in God or are a Hindu or nothing, it'll still deliver the experience to you. That's why I'm so freaking excited about this, honestly, guys. I'm just excited we even ended up on this in this video because I can't wait to share this with you guys. And it actually does relate to this video. Why? Because the space we seek in relationships in another human being is the space which can be ultimately found through yoga. Yoga can actually deliver that experience so that when you're in a relationship with another human being, you're not clinging to them. You're not dependent on them. You're not smothering them because you're both realizing that you can achieve that space and state on your own through spiritual practice, through yoga, the ritual of yoga. And through Nityananda Yoga, we have both had that in our lives in a real way. So I hope for each and every one of you, whether you're in a relationship or not, you need to experience this because only then your outside relationships can be complete and whole and fulfilling and in the space of unconditional love.
That's a great,
Yeah.
This was not planned at all, but yeah, that's a great solution is just practicing authentic yoga, not just any yoga, authentic yoga, which is obviously what we are teaching and practicing and living here, the Nityananda Yoga. And actually, I'm going to plug, so we actually are just releasing an ebook now, which is the Yoga Paddhati, which is basically the most authentic book coming out on yoga, available on the planet Earth. It's the 108 Pratama Vinyasa Krama series, which is 108 asanas in a 1 hour sequence with all these components as Prasiddha was just mentioning, released by our guru, His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda. And if you guys are actually interested in donating, we are a non-profit, like Prasiddha and I, we're not working here or anything. We don't get any kickback on this. But if you want to donate to the development of this book, then that would be awesome. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, we're really looking for support for people who are yogis or who have a passion for this and who want to be a part of something huge. Because even your donation, even if it was small, makes your name a part of this history, literally. And you will get so much blessings back to you for sharing the science to the world. Literally, the only reason we actually even ask you guys for this is because we want and need, and Swamiji wants and needs to make this accessible to everyone for free. So the only way to do that is to actually make the material there and available. So because we're in this process right now, we're asking for donations. So if you guys are interested, only if you're interested, don't feel pressured or anything. But we would love to get you guys on board, give you more information, get you involved with this project because it is seriously some exciting stuff. So anyways, we'll end on that note. Anything else? I think we're good. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this video was helpful, gave a little deeper clarity into when a relationship is serving you and when it's no longer serving you, and ultimately what you're seeking in relationships and how you can actually find it through yoga. So thank you guys for tuning into our joint channel. And we'll see you guys soon. Nityananda.
Nityananda.